We're now joined on the line by Mduduzi Simelane, Member of Parliament of the Siphofaneni constituency in Eswatini. Honourable Simelane, very good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to the Globe.
Thank you so much, Leader. I'm grateful to be part.
Well, so much has been said about the contentious SADC delegation visit to Eswatini. They were apparently on a fact-finding mission. So what facts did they find?
To be honest, with due respect, I think it wasn't a fact-finding mission. I think they had just visited the government of this country, because I haven't seen anything like getting into the facts of what is happening in the country and in the situation that we're currently facing.
Were you consulted about this visit?
To be honest, we only saw the visit on media. When they didn't contact actually myself personally. I think I got a call from the office of the Foreign Affairs Ministry at around 2 o'clock yesterday. They told me that they are here, only have 2 hours remaining. Can I be to them within 2 hours? And I'm at a distance within the country. They then said, can I get through to them via a phone call? And I asked the question, what will we be talking about? Will we be setting a date? Will be setting how we'll handle the issues of the country, or will be divulging what is really happening in the country? They said, wait, coming back to you over a minute. They came back and said, oh, okay, we've decided not to you today. We don't have time. We are rushing. We will tell you when we can come back next. That's all I know about their visit.
And the list of people Mr. Simelane consulted has been thrown into serious question. Was the delegation on the ground? As you've mentioned, they were not, clearly. Did they go into the trenches to assess the extent of which the violence has had on the lives of Swazi people?
With due respect, again, I repeat, they just visited the Prime Minister and the Minister for Home Affairs, because they didn't go to the hospitals to see those people. They didn't even consulted the people who lost members of their families. We have over 40 people who died in this thing. None of them were visited to be asked what really happened there. And in the statement, the main worry is on the infrastructure. Yes, even I'm worried about the infrastructure, but what happened to wailing the death that are there? There is no mention of the people in the hands of the state. There is only mention of the infrastructure. I'm also worried about infrastructure. My worry, why are they so sided in everything that is happening?
And as one of the 3 MPs said to be the pioneers of the revolution, there was a voice note circulating on social media, purportedly of you telling people to go to the homes of the killer soldiers and destroy their properties. There's also another voice note, again, purportedly of you dismissing the veracity of such a voice note. So what's the real story here? Where do you stand in terms of the destruction of the armed forces' properties?
From the onset, I've always said I'm a strong believer of dialogue. I'm a strong believer of peace. 2, I hear the voice note late last night. And it's giving a command that we must go and attack homes of the armed forces people. And I went straight to my social media, reached that. I told the people that will never be a strike. And whosoever is saying, I don't think he's one of the people who are calling for change. To me, it's like it's propaganda. To me, it's like it's of the enemy of that is trying to supplicate is us. In short, I'm clear. I believe in peace. I believe in dialogue. I've been telling protesters, no, we cannot afford being out to turn our own infrastructure. For that matter, the infrastructure of ordinary people who are striving on the ground. So I just believe in peaceful marches. I just believe in open dialogue. I'm hungry for a time where the country will fully believe in dialogue and exercise dialogue.
So, I mean, it does appear that the country is now on autopilot, because there's very scant communication coming out of the acting Prime Minister's office. There's little or no word from the King himself or the King's office. And having said that, have parliamentarians, on the other hand, met to discuss this impasse?
Well, on the issue of the information coming from the Prime Minister, I would say he's better silent than talking, because each time he talks, he tells us something that is opposite of what he's saying. You remember the issue of internet. Issue of internet, it says the structures were vandalized, only to find no. There was an order to say no, switch off. Then coming to Parliament, I will say that Parliament has been off since then. From 5-6 months, we have only went to Parliament not more than 4 times. For 4 to 5 months, it has not more than 4 times. So you can tell that Parliament is a toothless dog. It's silent. There's nothing to.
All right, Mr. Simelane, we seem to be struggling to reach you, and the line is not the best there. And you just mentioned that you are a self-professed proponent of peace and dialogue. Having said that,
yes.
has His Majesty the King or government authorities perhaps extended an invitation to you to engage in a meaningful dialogue to end the standoff?
I have been phoning a number of influential people in the country, trying to tell them that there is only one way out here. It is dialogue. Unfortunately, I think they are full of undermining. They're full of power. They don't believe in us. They don't believe we can bring tangible solutions into the problems that we have. I think they have anger. I think they've proved that they are not leaders of the country. So in short, we have always been saying, please, let's come together and talk. And we've been saying that, we've been doing that, been pleading for that for a long time. And while has been done to us, the door has been closed. Now and again, each time we tried that. So in short, they're not ready for dialogue. In short, they're so arrogant in what they are doing.
Yeah, and speaking of arrogance of the authorities, I mean, there's been a history of antagonisms or tensions between the monarchy and the progressive movement in the Kingdom of Eswatini. So calls for dialogue are definitely not new. It's something that the progressive movements have been calling for years. So it's just seeing the situation now and assessing the kind of attitudes that the monarchy and the powers that be have towards the progressive movement. Is there any indication that the king perhaps and the authorities will succumb to the pressure of engaging in dialogue? And if not, is this an indication that the current standoff will go on and more lives lost?
I can safely say, though painfully, that my predictions are more blood will be spilled in our soil. The soil of the Swazi nation is still to be soaked with blood if really people are sure that they need political freedom. What do I mean? I mean the thinking of the leadership of the country is so hardened. They don't want to shed power to retain power. They believe they must handle everything by themselves. Yet, this time around, I don't see the people retreating. This time around, I don't see the people giving up. This time around, we are saying we have lost so much in terms of property. We have lost so much in terms of lives. How can we stop now? How can we change the agenda now? It's one way for us now. So I can really say that the international bodies, may they please intervene before West comes to West. May South Africa and other countries that are neighbors to our country, may they please intervene, because it has been clear enough that the leadership of the country does not want to allow at least the people to elect their prime minister who will have executive powers. Mind you, my brother, is it too much to ask, just to ask to have a prime minister that is elected by people and he or she be having executive powers? If you ask for that, you need to get a response of a barrel of a gun. So it is so bad here, and we need assistance from international structures to make sure that we save life and get what the people want.
All right, Mr. Mduduzi Simelane, great chatting to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
I'm blessed. Bye-bye.
That is Mr. Mduduzi Simelane. He is a member of parliament of the Siphofaneni or the Siphofaneni constituency in the Kingdom of Eswatini, just giving us the latest with regards to the SADC delegation's visit to Eswatini and as well as the developments coming out of that kingdom.